Hey guys, today I want to talk contracts. I have a lot to say about this subject. I have been on both sides. I've been on them as the author, I've been on them as the publisher. And I can tell you there's a lot to these things. I know that for new writers, when a publisher offers you a contract, it's like, yay, you cannot get to that signing part fast enough because it feels like something you've worked for. You've probably got a finished piece or a good portion of it, and you really just want to see your words get in the world. Totally normal, totally legit. But I want to talk about my experiences with this so that you guys don't make some of the same mistakes I did. First thing to think about when you get offered a contract for your book. Number one, you want to look at the percentage of royalties for you and the percentage for the publisher. You also want to look at the length, the term of the contract, how long this publisher or person will own rights to your book. Now, as for royalties in indie publishing generally range between 40% and 70% to the author. Most commonly what I see is 40%, 50% lately, and there are some cases where I'll see 60% to the author, but I've only seen that in the cases of vanity presses where the publisher is making you pay for your edits, making you pay for your covers. At that point, they're serving more as, well, it is a vanity press at that point. Anytime an author is expected to pay a dime toward the publication of a book, other than royalties, you're dealing with a vanity press, which isn't wrong. It's just not a model that I'm real familiar with because I've never done that. The only money I've ever spent to publish with another outlet or publisher or service provider is for a buy-in for a box set or a charity anthology buy-in, that sort of thing. I've never paid a publisher for my covers or edits or anything like that. That's not my style. I'd rather just self-publish it at that point. But anyways, you want to look at your royalty split and you want to look at the length and time period of the contract. Pretty typical in indie is between 1 to 3 years. I personally have signed contracts between 1 to 7 years. Now, my first book contract was for 7 years. They still have my book. I think we're in year 6. I'm not real clear. I should probably look that up like this year, but regardless, it is what it is. It was a long contract. I have 3 or 4 that are 6 years, 2 that are 5 years. Those 2 are about to run out, and I've got to actually come up with plans for what am I going to do with these books when I get them back. But that's step 1. You also want to look and see, does the contract say that the publisher has first rights to the series? Or do they actually own the series? So if you are writing a book 1 and you're thinking maybe this will have a sequel or future books down the road, you want to check on that. That's important. But more importantly than the fine details of the contract, which you should read every letter of before you sign, no matter how excited you are, put it away. The publisher's not going to go anywhere. There's no need to rush. After you look at it and you feel really good about the contract or not, but you know what you're going to do about the contract, the other thing you want to know and think about is, well, okay, let me back up. Before I would even sign that contract, I would talk to other people who have worked with that publisher. You're going to hear bad things. You are. You're also going to hear great things. You are. It's like a review on Amazon. You're going to see the 1 stars and the 5 stars. Not everyone's going to have the same experience because people go in with different expectations. I know for me that people I've published, 80% of the people are really happy with what we do. And then there's 20% that just we couldn't do right no matter how hard we tried, even though we use the exact same model in every single book. Now, so that's one thing you want to do before you even sign the contract. As for contracts overall, here's what I want to talk about and what I've had experiences with. I have had people in indie, this is so common, break contracts on both sides. They've either decided halfway through a project, nah, I'm not going to publish this, and said this project is scratched. After you, the author, have turned around and written the book, done everything they've asked, you're ready to go, you're looking for a pre-order link, they decide they don't want to do it. You're kind of out of luck there. The only thing you can kind of tell yourself is, okay, they broke the contract, but at least I've got this work that I can publish somewhere else down the road, self-publish, or submit to another publisher. So that's not a total loss. From the publisher's perspective, when an author signs a contract and then wants to terminate the contract just randomly, oh, I don't like it, I don't think my book's sold enough, it's your fault, I don't like the book cover. I mean, these are all things I hear all the time. That's a problem too, because a publisher has already spent money on edits, money on covers, money on marketing, money on promotion, all of that. That's another issue. Here's the deal, guys. When you sign a contract, it's a legal document. It is. In book world, I know we're all artists and we all want to like run around and be, artsy. I get it. I do too. But there are parts to book world, just like the math that goes into an Amazon rank, that are actually really cut and dry. If you sign the contract, you're giving up your rights to the book. Not permanently, but for that length of time. That publisher becomes your partner. If you are a person that doesn't play well with others or needs to have full control, don't do it. Don't sign a contract. On the flip side, if you are a person who gets all excited to do a project and you're like, yay, I'm into this, and then halfway through tends to abandon ship and just knows that, yeah, I can't really follow through, don't lead projects because you're letting people down on that end too. At the end of the day, book world and books and all of this, even in indie, is a business that works in two directions. When an author signs a contract, they are saying, this book, these words, this thing I've worked so hard on, I'm going to go into partnership with you, and together we are going to get this book out into the world. Then the publisher turns around, they pay for your edits, they pay for your edits, they pay for your cover, they do all the things, they market you, they promote you, whatever's in that contract, and away you go. On the flip side, as an author, you write the words, you hand it off, and you say, good night, Moon, I'm on to my next project. Obviously, you need to help pimp and promote and do all the things you would for your own work anyways, because who wouldn't pimp their own work? Who wouldn't promote their own work? That, to me, just is like another planet. But not at the same level as if you had self-published it, because you have the backing of a team. You need a team in indie. Whether it's that you hire a team and you're self-published, or you have a publisher who will provide you for free with a team. That's one of the things you get from giving away 50% of your royalties. So in a sense, you're always paying to be published, because 50%, we're calling it 50, it could be 40, it could be 70. But those royalties you're sharing with the publisher. So for me, I always get a little surprised when I see authors, their book's been out 2 months and they're like, well, I don't like it. Now I changed my mind. I don't want to do the contract anymore. I also get even more surprised than that, because that one, all right, maybe I can understand that. I think people sign things fast because they don't think long term, like, oh, maybe I'm not meant to have a publisher. I found that people that will complain about contracts and want their books back, they're really better off self-published. They're people that want full control over a project. They want to do it their way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like that. I want to be able to do it my way. I have no problem with that. The problem I have with that is when you sign up with an agreement with a publisher, you have them spend all the money and put all the, resources at a book to turn around and say, well, I want my rights back for no apparent reason. It's, no, it's not good. It's not good business. It's not professional. It's not okay. And it shouldn't happen. On the flip side, and I think this is worse, it should not happen with a publisher. If an author puts their faith into you and they trust you to get their words into the world, then you as the publisher or the person leading a box set, whatever, have an absolute obligation to make sure that those release dates are met to the best of your ability, that those books are promoted to the best of your ability. And, no one's perfect. No publisher's perfect. No author's perfect. But it needs to be a working relationship. And when that relationship starts to break down, you guys got to think, professional faces, it's still a legal binding contract. There is no reason to freak out. There's no reason to scream. There's no reason to tweak out. None of it. It is what it is. You put your name behind something, you signed a contract, You stick by it. You stand by it. I've had authors that I've gotten into projects with and said, we're just not a good mesh, you know? But that doesn't make me not put their book out on release day. I've also had authors that came to me, thought everything was good. They want their book back, and I don't even know why. And I say no. You can't have a book out for 3 weeks with a cover that you loved when we first gave it to you and decide it's the cover's fault that this book's not selling. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. This is business. When you sign a contract, you're in it together as part of a team. Personalities will clash. People may decide, I don't want to publish another book with this person. People might decide, well, I'm not going to sign up for another project because this publisher just canceled. But it's important to think about what you're doing when you sign a contract. Because once you do that, someone else has a say in your book. And if you can't handle that, then you want to learn how to self-publish, because there's zero wrong with that. Making up like fake publishers so that you look like you have a publisher in this climate, I don't get it. There's nothing, I will say it till I'm blue in the face, nothing wrong with fake publishers. Yet this is what I continue to see over fake publishers. Yeah, way to speak. Nothing wrong with self-publishing. But I see this over and over again. People make up fake publishing companies because they've got some problem in their brain with the idea of saying I'm self-published. I think people can be proud of being self-published. To make up a publishing company to me just is like bizarre. But it's equally bizarre to sign a contract with someone and decide, nah, I don't want to. That's not how business works. It's not how business works. So if you want to be in a partnership with someone and you want to work together with a team that's already pre-built, or you don't have the money to self-publish, you need to do your research, read every line of that contract to make sure it's the right publisher for you, and you need to honor the contract even if you change your mind halfway through. Look, I've got publishers that I don't think are necessarily, I don't think they even know I exist. And you know what? That's okay. Time moves on. Eventually I'll get my books back. And in my case, I'll self-publish them. Not afraid to say that. Not feeling like I need to make up some wild, crazy other name. And no, there's nothing wrong with self-publishing, especially in 2020. So guys, whatever you decide, feel great about your decisions. Just make sure they are educated decisions and that you stand by them. It's okay that the publisher you thought was your dream publisher didn't turn out to be right for you. What's not okay is breaking contracts for any reason other than something like legally serious. You know, if you pay a buy-in for a $500 box set and it never even gets started, well, there's a reason. But I don't like you, or I changed my mind and you won't give me a new free cover. That's not how this works. And I continue to be shocked by some of the things I hear authors say that I'm just like, oh, you thought edits were free, or you thought you should set up a set and then just quit writing. That will never happen with me. I can tell you, I have never, ever broken a contract. Every single book I said I would release, I have released. I've had a couple of exceptions where they weren't on time, but the reason they weren't on time was an author didn't meet certain requirements. They gave me a book that was over word count. They didn't get it in on deadline, that kind of thing. Doesn't mean the books haven't still gone out or won't. On the flip side, as an author, every single book that I have promised a publisher, they've gotten on time, self-edited, written to the best of my ability. I have helped promote that book and done every single thing I can possibly do to make that book succeed. No matter how I felt about the publisher. Why? Because my name is on that book. So I want that book to do well, regardless of all the other BS. To me, that's professionalism. It makes me sad that I don't see this a lot. It makes me sad that I'm actually surprised. And I am. I'm surprised when an author honors their word, honors their contract. I'm surprised, shocked when a publisher does. And it's just, it shouldn't be this way, but it is. And so, honest to God, the best thing I can tell you, do your research, guys. Make sure that you are signing up with people who have a proven track record, paying their royalties, of showing up every day, of not quitting even when times get tough, of doing what they say they're going to do, not just talking about it, but actually doing it. And then be that person too. Because I can tell you as a publisher, there is nothing more awesome than a group of authors who wants it, who's hungry, who shows up every day, who does their job, who meets their deadlines, and who doesn't break contracts. The dream team, I have it. I'm so fortunate. I've got it more than I could expect. And that is priceless. And I understand that as a publisher. And I also know I've got a handful. It's tiny. Okay, maybe like a little peckful of outside places that I trust to honor their contract, not disappear, to do their jobs, do them well. And it's a great outlet for me when I'm looking for outside readers. So that is my take. You sign a contract, guys. It's a contract. You wouldn't not pay your car payment because you decided you don't like the color of your car anymore. You wouldn't not pay your mortgage because, Sally got a better mortgage over her house is bigger. That's not real life. Book World has to be treated like a job if you're serious about it. And once you make a legally binding agreement with someone, you got to uphold your end. I do it every time, even when I don't want to, even when I have second thoughts, even when it hurts. But it's the right thing to do. And your word, well, you got to back it up with action. All right, guys. Sorry this is so all over the place. Royalties, length of contract, ask around. Those are the 3 things I recommend. I also recommend being sure your personality, who you are, can handle having a little bit of control taken away. Find out, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Say, hey, what will I have control over? Will I get to have impact or input on the cover? I've had publishers that just hand me my cover, and I've sat there biting the inside of my mouth so I bleed and not complained because, that's what you do. Their contract says they do the covers. Me not liking it is neither here nor there. There comes a point when you give a book to a publisher that you have to trust them to know what's right for your book. Because if you don't, then why did you sign that in the first place? You shouldn't have. So while I know contracts are exciting and fun and they make you feel like, yay, finally, not a rejection, because believe me, I got walls of rejection letters too. Don't just jump in and sign. Be sure you know what you're signing up for, and once you do, act professionally. The people that have had my book forever and still have more years to go, okay. Do I wish I had my book back? Of course. Do I love that cover? No. But it is what it is. And I'll get my book back. They put time, money, and energy and effort into getting my book out there. And for that, I appreciate them. Why? Because they gave me a shot. That alone should make someone feel great. And I know how I felt when I signed that first contract. And I'm proud to say I honored it. There is a sense of self-esteem and satisfaction that comes when you can say, I have never, ever let someone else down in Book World. Why? Because I treat it like I do my real job and I take it serious. It's not a hobby. It's not a thing I can make excuses. I'm going to go in there every day, show up. My best game face. Is it going to be perfect? No. But it's going to be my best. That's all you got to do. And make sure, though, that you know what you're signing up for. All right, guys, we'll do a little bit lighter topic next time, but this needed to be said. I have just seen too much of this literally coming from both sides in the last few months. I think people are just getting stir crazy with all this quarantininess. And it's sad because, this Book World thing, it should be a fun, positive place. And the best way I know to succeed is with a team, working together, compromising, saying, all right, you know what, for the better, bigger picture, let's put the petty stuff away, focus on what will make this book, this author succeed. That is what matters. That's what's important. And once you sign a contract, you really want to put your energy there. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again soon. Till next time, peace, love, books, and crazy.